Hello, my name is Scylla and I am a Lolita. Please don't judge me for not wearing wrist cuffs. It is very, very hot. So I've been wearing these clothes for like, I want to say, I think it's been 6 years now. And I gotta say, my experience has been relatively great. I felt like I haven't really had that many negative interactions like I've heard with some other people, which of course could do with the area that I live in. The vibe is a little bit different. People are a little bit more open fashion-wise. No one really cares what you're doing, what you're wearing. Some people definitely stare, and then a lot of people definitely comment, but there's nothing so horrible that's happened to me. But I did want to have a sit down and talk about some of the less positive things that have happened to me as a whole. And they're pretty minor, but also depressing enough to give me sads. Now generally, I really hate focusing on just negative things, so I would like to eventually make a video talking about my positive and happy Lolita experiences at some point, just not right now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get right in there. Number one most negative experience that has happened to me has to do with the dress that I got that was moldy. For those who didn't watch my Lolita disaster videos, I ordered a dress off of Mercari and it was in otherwise perfect condition. The owner hadn't really worn it, but it seemed that they took it for a wash just to be safe and then packaged it in the cellophane bag without it fully drying. As soon as I put my hand in there, I could tell it was damp. This mold. There was mold. So I think what really hit me super hard about it was that it was in otherwise such good condition. There was no need for it to be what it was when I got it. And it was with like a dream print too, so I'm still recovering from it, but you know, time continues to move on and I continue to heal. So the second worst experience that I've ever had was actually in my very early start as a Lolita. So at this point I had, I think this was the second dress that I had gotten. It was a baby print, so I dressed up in classic Lolita. You know, a little more towards the sweet side, but still classic. This was what I was planning my style to be at the time. And I thought that it was pretty toned down, that I would feel comfortable going out and about in it. So me and my boyfriend decided to go to the Arboretum. And if you live in California, it is the one here in Arcadia. I feel no shame saying it. It's a very lovely, wonderful place. I don't live anywhere near that area, so I don't feel weird about saying it. And not anymore, at least. Yeah, we wanted to go see some flowers, so I looked the place up ahead of time because you know, being me, I like knowing what I'm getting into ahead of time, if there's any rules or any problems with me like dressing up. And really the only thing that I found was like, hey, if you're gonna take pictures, you gotta pay for it. And I was assuming, you know, like professional pictures, which is no problem. So we get there and it's on a weekend, so it's like super crowded, very long lines. But eventually we finally get to the front and there's an older woman at the register and she looks me up and down and she asks me if we're going to be taking photos. And I say no because I'm thinking like professional photography. My boyfriend says yes because it's like he's thinking like phone pics and stuff. And so I reiterate, no, it's not. We won't. And then what followed was just kind of really awkward. Pretty much, she kept implying that I was very dressed up. And I was like, yeah, it's just my clothes. And she just kept nodding like, yeah, but you're very dressed up. I'm just looking around and I'm realizing that she's not giving us the tickets. And I'm starting to feel really nervous because at this point we're there for like the amount of time that everyone else was there and they already got their ticket. So we should be moving right along, but now there's this holdup because she's just not. Anytime I try and move around like, listen, we're not going to be doing anything, like we understand, she still goes back to, but you're very dressed up to be here. So she kept implying that clearly we must be taking photos. It's just this very awkward back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it's so awkward. And then I felt really fucking bad at that point. Like I shouldn't have dressed up because I'm holding up the line. And I don't know how many times I can say like, we're not going to be taking any pictures. This is just how I dress. Eventually though, she does give us the tickets, although hesitatingly. But by this point, honestly, the whole mood is just kind of down. You know, we went in, there's flowers, there's like water fountain things. It's really pretty. I look around, I see families everywhere taking photos with their phone, and I was scared to pull mine out because I didn't want to get in trouble. And it's just the strangest feeling because I just felt so guilty being there dressed how I was. And I know it's so silly and so stupid, but yeah, for the rest of the day I was just not enjoying myself. I couldn't. I was afraid to take out my phone to even like look at my emails and stuff. So yeah, I haven't been back since. Would like to, but probably not in Lolita. And you know what the most bullshit part is? I've seen meetups happening there. Like, I think Lolitas in the area have gone there before as a group because it's just like a super popular place. But I don't know. It happened. I think after that we went to like the 99-cent store or something, and there was like these two kids following me around. Very, very cute. And then there was a lovely lady at the register who kept talking about how pretty I looked. And that was really, really nice. So that kind of made my day better. But anyway, on to the third worst experience for me. I went to Walmart in OTT Suite. I feel like I need to preface that this Walmart in particular is not like other Walmarts. This one is a super center Walmart in Glendale. I straight up have panic attacks going in there because it's so claustrophobic. But anyway, at this point, it was still early on with me wearing Lolita. It had been like a few months at this point. And for me, I had like a time limit now for Walmart for being in there, like no more than 15 minutes. Like you get in, you get out. So it was an emergency run. I was already out with my boyfriend. We really had to get some stuff. So I am wearing sugar hearts, fully decked out. I got the high pigtails, I got my tea parties, like I'm full floof. I get out of the car and I immediately get catcalled. Some bro in his car calls me strawberry shortcake. I like strawberry shortcake, although it doesn't make any sense as far as like sugar hearts go. There's nothing strawberry-ish about that, but you know, whatever. And I also should say, like, the vibe that he was giving wasn't like negative, it was more jolly. So there's that at least. But at the same time, no one likes attention put towards them, at least I personally don't. So right off the bat, not a good time. It's also, we're like well into summer by this point, so I'm like boiling just because we have to park all the way on the other side. Like, we're not even in the Walmart parking lot because that's how crowded it is. So we have to walk all the way there. Finally, we get inside and we're just like, my boyfriend immediately goes to the left to get like some, I don't know, freaking fish or something. And I'm falling behind because my dress is getting caught on every single corner, every item, anything that's there. That dress is catching. So I kept having to stop and unhook my dress from everything. And I was getting all these stares, these confused stares from children with their mothers and fathers and just everyone. But again, as a Lolita, you just blow it off. But in this case, because you know, I'm like trying to undo myself and get myself going, it's just not a very good feeling. And so by this point, I've lost my boyfriend. I have no idea where he is. I'm running around. I finally find him at the cash register. So I have to maneuver me and my petticoat around like the line to finally get to him. I know it doesn't sound chill, my boyfriend leaving me behind. He did apologize for this, and this cool thing, this can be another story time in itself, but yeah, that's a story for another time. And most importantly, we had to be in and out. I found him, that's what matters. He apologized and we left. And yeah, after that, I don't wear poofy dresses in stores at all. Anything with aisles, big no-no. Especially that dress, because if you've seen that dress, it's layers of like chiffon. There's like multiple dimensions to it. They were all just getting stuck. Second, third, just everything. So number 4 worst experience is the time that my hat flew off. Even though at this point I did have some sweet items, I was primarily trying to wear classic. So I think I was wearing Victorian Maiden. I took pictures of that day, so. But yeah, I think we were driving around and we ended up having to stop somewhere for something. we went to, I think it was Ross, but it wasn't like our local Ross. It was like more in a, not a ghetto area, but kind of like a midway point to a ghetto, kind of. Anyway, so we went in, we came out. As I was walking to the car, this lady is like yelling at me, and I'm trying to ignore it because I think that she's like yelling at me because it's aggressive the way that she's yelling. But finally I look and I realize she's just trying to tell me that my hat flew off. So I ran all the way back to the front of the store because that's where it fell, picked it up, came back, told her thank you. I thought we would have like a pleasant interaction, but really when she saw me up close, she kind of like backed away all confused or something. I don't know, she was weird. Anyway, I was still grateful to her, and I wasn't able to feel the hat fly off my head because I was wearing a wig. It was thick, so I could only feel if like you were pressing your hand into my head. So from that point on, I made sure to never put anything in my head unless it was like well clipped in there. But yeah, this whole thing really wasn't that big a deal ultimately, but I just felt super embarrassed. I felt so not great afterwards. Like, I felt super shitty. And I don't think it was really what happened there. I think that was just kind of like an extra little cherry on the top. I think what was really bothering me was what had happened while we were inside Ross. Because while we were in there, I experienced something that I hadn't experienced before. Not in Lolita, and to be honest, actually, I don't think I've experienced it since then. So I'm wearing classic. I feel like my clothes were relatively toned down. My petty isn't big enough to be knocking stuff over or getting in the way of people. Moreover, the Ross isn't really super crowded. Like, there's room for me to move and maneuver without having to even move around people. But what was different about this Ross in particular was the people and the kinds of stares that I was getting. Ordinarily in Lolita, people will like look, they might be surprised, and then they'll go back to doing what they're doing. A lot of the times, mostly what I get is people will like quickly take a look or a glance and then actively try to look away so that it's not looking like they're staring, which is, you know, the best thing for me. Then sometimes there will be those people who just really like stare. In this case, is what it felt like was everyone. The mothers and their children, they were staring, like lingering stares. It wasn't like curiosity or anything. It was like, you fucking degenerate. What are you wearing? What is wrong with you? It was so bizarre. I had never picked up that vibe before or since. It's strictly that one time. And you can tell, you can read a person by how they're looking you up and down. Like, they were looking at me like I had offended them in some way. It was completely miserable. And when we got in the car, all I wanted to do was just take off my clothes and just disappear, pretty much. Here and there, throughout the years, I have gotten some nasty stares, but nothing like that. I don't know what that was. But we're never going back to that hood ever again. So number 5 worst experience is, of course, paying an overpriced fee for an AP dress that turned out to be really dirty. By really dirty, I mean never washed ever. This is also in my secondhand disasters video. Definitely tea had been spilled into it, and I could tell. They never tried to get it out, because as soon as I put it under water, it immediately started like clearing out. And then like the bodice was in such a condition. I will never achieve full cleanage, but I'm still doing my best to this day. A close second to this is also the Closet Child jacket that I got that had a smell to it that I couldn't quite define. I know that it wasn't cigarette smoke, but it was a very like sour smell, and I thought that maybe they did some like air freshener on it, folded it up, put it into like a storage container or something, because I did get another skirt that smelled just like that. But I washed that and it was fine. When I washed the jacket, it wasn't fine. And no matter what I did, it didn't smell good until I sprayed it down with an enzyme breakdown spray for pets, for urine from pets. I soaked it in that, and then after washing it is when it smelled fresh, actually. But I didn't mention this afterwards. After like a few maybe like after a week, the smell started coming back. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it, but it sucks. Those are the worst. Though I've had some other unpleasant things. Those are definitely all the worst. And I think I'm very lucky because ultimately they're really not that bad. But honestly, I would be lying if I said that I wasn't now more careful about places that I go in Lolita. I know it sucks and you should be able to wear your clothes however you want, wherever you want. But for me, I know now the areas of Los Angeles where I'm gonna get more attention than other places. So I do base my clothes off of that. Like, I will no longer go shopping for like groceries or anything like that in Lolita. Places like the Arboretum, I don't even want to take the chance that I could even hold up a line for like a few minutes. And to be honest, I'm okay with that. Outside of these times, I wear Lolita when I want, so it's really not that big a deal for me. I just do whatever's more convenient for me, what works with me, and what I am most comfortable with. And I think that's like the most important part. If you're wearing Lolita, number one, you have to feel comfortable. Not just with what you're wearing, but where you're going as well. Some people don't care at all. They don't care about attention. They don't care about negativity. That is perfectly fine. That is awesome for them. I don't work the same way. I pick up on all kinds of energy around me. And I hate attention. So I do Lolita the way that I want to do it. But with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you so much for watching if you watched, and I will see you next time. Bye!